You're listening to Synergy to Synastry, the podcast where two corporate girlies called to follow their intuition take you on a journey of self-exploration through metaphysical modalities.
I'm Christine, intuitive coach and clairvoyant.
And I'm Renee, psychic intuitive and astrologer.
We're excited that you're here and honored to be your spiritual guides. If you enjoy this podcast, make sure to subscribe, rate, and review wherever you listen. It helps listeners find our show, plus it automatically enters you into our raffles to win a free psychic reading.
Now, let's get into the episode.
Renee, I don't know if you remember, but in episode 7 of this season, I had a dream that I had gotten ribbon bangs. But I wanted to wait until Venus's retrograde was over before I cut my hair. And guess what I finally did?
Got ribbon bangs?
Thankfully, the woman who cut my hair is into astrology, so when I was explaining to her that I was waiting until after Venus retrograde to cut my hair, she totally got it. But I'm so happy. It looks so beautiful. I'm glad that I did it, and I'm also glad that I waited because when I went to her, I knew what I wanted.
I had a haircut earlier this year, just my regularly scheduled appointment, and around that time, I was starting to have that feeling. I'm familiar with it. It happens, every X amount of years. I'm like, I'm just going to cut it all off. I'm just going to cut it all off. I ended up having to move it several weeks out. By the time I got to that rescheduled appointment, I was like, I'm going to grow my hair out. I completely changed my mind. And thinking about the timeline, it was maybe in the shadow period.
That is so funny. That's such a practical application.
I wonder if that's happened previous years before I even studied astrology, where I had that sensation of like, I'm going to cut my hair off. And it was when Venus was retrograde. That'd be interesting.
It probably has. I want to look up when I got bangs like years ago. But it
yeah.
wasn't Venus retrograde. But the reason I talk about my hair, besides updating the listeners on how our dreams come to fruition, is because I got some really good questions, some really good listener questions from the hair salon. There was a nice chat about what's going on. So I wanted to share them with you. I think you'll have some really good insights. And they're great for a listener episode. So are you ready for question number 1?
Of course.
What is your least favorite astrological sign?
I want to hear your answer to this question before I answer this question.
I think there are not good, but empowered and disempowered parts to every sign. A disempowered Virgo can be overly critical and really harsh and very nitpicky. Whereas an empowered Virgo can be so helpful and can give really great advice and can help you really become your best self. If I had to choose one, it would probably be a disempowered Pisces, because I just had experience with a disempowered Pisces that made me just recoil from that person entirely. There was no talking to them. There was no bringing them back. There was no logic. And again, as a Virgo, they're my opposite sign. I feel like there is something to that.
You are posing a very interesting theory with the sister signs. And you are coming at it from the sun sign. So it's the ego and life force and how you're operating and functioning. I do wonder if we are more likely to have tension with the sun, moon, and rising in particular, the sister sign of our natal placement.
A disempowered Cancer, which is the opposite of my moon and my rising, they're really annoying to me. But they're not
How many Cancers do you know?
Too many, like really too many.
Oh my gosh, wow.
It's really annoying to me, but I could be around it. Whereas a disempowered Pisces, I don't want to be there. I want to go home immediately. And if we never talk again, I'm okay with that.
Maybe it's most potent. It's more of a tricky situation for the sun in particular, but the theory will have to test. Okay, so going back to actually answering the question, I agree with what you said. And I will add, there's a lot of discourse around, oh, I love Capricorns. Oh, I love Leos. Oh, I hate Aquarius. Why are we doing this? Why are we hijacking this personal development tool for categorizing people and labeling them in a negative way Why are we doing that? I will say I love connecting with Virgos because I have been, for whatever reason, meeting a ton of Virgos in 2025. But showing me this energy in different forms so that I can take that, and it allows me to better understand myself. And I can appreciate the high vibration and low vibration, like what Christine was talking about. That is very different than walking around and wanting to ask everyone, like, what's your sun sign or what's your big three or whatever it is, because you want to know if that's going to tell you whether you're going to like them or not or get along with them or not. And it's my viewpoint of working with charts enough. We are so much more nuanced than that. So I love that you brought this question because quite literally in my Insight Timer class yesterday, we were discussing the 12 zodiac signs. That's the lecture that I did. And I was explaining how none are better than the other. Each of them, you have a journey. So you start with Aries. And what are the traits of that? And then as you move into Taurus, how is Taurus overcorrecting for the weaknesses, if you will, the lower vibration? And it just does that all the way around the zodiac. And then you get to Pisces, and then the same thing happens as it returns back to Aries. We're all learning from each other within our own chart. We have all 12. So this slander against other signs, just because your sun is in one spot, to me, I think we should be dispelling this, because whether or not you have placements in there, you still have that energy. So just because if I look at my natal chart and my sixth house of Sagittarius is empty, that doesn't mean that there is nothing about me that pulls on Sagittarian traits. It still is infused in those areas of life. It's still somewhere in my makeup. I can work with that. And I think it's part of the larger mission and hopefully arc of society that we are not focusing on our differences and we're focusing on ways that we can better understand each other. And I prefer to use this tool as a way to identify commonalities, give us some vocabulary for understanding ourselves rather than weaponizing it into, well, I don't like those people. We've done enough of that in history with religion, with race, with gender identity, sexual orientation. The list goes on.
Yeah, I agree with you. I do see the human nature of trying to categorize things to somehow make it easier to interact, if that makes sense.
We want to categorize because it lessens the mental load for our brain. If we can label something quick, then we can remove some of the information attached to it, and then we can store less, and our mind doesn't have to work as hard. So there is a reason that we have evolved to be this way. That being said, we have also evolved to be self-aware. When we fall into over-categorization, simplifying, that is stereotyping. That's prejudice. That's what that is. We're letting those adaptive functions to save energy, conserve energy within our mind and body go too far, and then it influences our reactions and our interactions with other people. So it goes from a biological function to a social maladaptive behavior that has massive ripple effects.
As two people who do use astrology, I have a feeling you do this too. I actually don't look at someone's chart until I know them well enough, and something comes up that I'm like, I can't really put my finger on this. Like, we're not communicating. I can't figure out why we're not getting along in this area of life. Let me see if there's something to understand. And I think a really good example for us is our Mercuries. Your Mercury's in Pisces, right? And mine's in Virgo. So Mercury's the planet of communication. Renee has a beautiful poetic way of talking about things that I simply do not. I am very concise. I spit out one sentence. Sometimes I can't get my ideas together because it's so staccato for me. For some people, a flowy way of communicating doesn't work. And for some people, a short way of communicating doesn't work. But for the two of us, understanding that about each other, it's really helped us make this podcast what it is, because we're able to use our strengths and weaknesses on both ends to create a podcast that is just a beautiful representation of how well we can communicate with each other. But if you find that one of your astrological signs is your least favorite, quote unquote, or you don't like it, it's a good exercise to look into why. Is there something in my chart that just doesn't vibe with that? And that's okay. Or is there something that I need to look into within myself to help me grow? The next question I thought was really fun and interesting. How do we as practitioners make sure that someone is open to being read before we read them?
I'm only reading someone if they've booked a reading with me, or if I am talking with other intuitives, we'll just have things drop in about each other. But another way to answer this question from a different angle is if you are in a reading with someone, how do you maybe know that they're blocked and they're not open to you? I just try to chat with them at the beginning, go over my process. This is what you can expect. Some people come in nervous. They don't know what they're supposed to be saying or not saying. So I'm like, you can talk as much or as little as you like. You can interrupt me. You are steering the ship. We can pivot to whatever you want to talk about. If you've heard enough, we'll change topics. I try to empower them. I try to kibitz with them. I can also make jokes. Hello, Virgo, hilarious. So I'm not even doing it on purpose, but I know that it's helpful to be joking around. So I try to have a lighthearted tone. The people that are especially nervous up front, they start getting more comfortable. Do you find that that's a similar experience for you?
First thing I have to say is I love when you throw a Yiddish word in there because you don't strike me as someone who uses Yiddish words on the regular. And
My mom says that.
I love it. I love it.
So I don't know where she got it.
I don't know where she got it either, but I love it. And we know I love your mom. But if you book a reading with me, I know you want to be there. You set aside time. You used your resources to get here. If you're a friend of mine and you come to me and we're having a serious conversation and you ask me to read you, I know you're open to being read. I know you're being honest with yourself because we're here for that. Even if I'm walking around and I get something that drops in, I usually won't say anything unless I'm directed to. Yesterday, I went to brunch with my friend, and as soon as we walked in, I looked at the host and I was like, "You have beautiful eyes." And I was like, "I don't know why I said that." He came outside and he was like, "Thank you so much. You caught me completely off guard. I was actually thinking, oh my God, I have allergies. I wonder if people can tell if my eyes look bloodshot." And then you said that, and it just made my whole day. And I was like, "Oh my God, you're so welcome." And then my friend was like, "I love that about you, that you just like compliment people." Sometimes it happens and I can't stop myself because that's who I am as an intuitive. Sometimes a nice thought pops in and I just have to share it. It's almost like I get an intuitive hit that has to come out.
Right.
And I'm trying not to overstep boundaries, but usually it's something that the person really wanted to hear. So that does happen.
We tend to see this, I know specifically for mediums. Like I was just talking to my mom about this the other day. We would watch these mediumship shows on TV growing up. And the one that I always think of is Lisa Williams. She's British. She had the short pixie cut. And what she would do is she'd put a hat on. And that was a signal that she had established with spirits that when her hat was on, the shop was closed and they were not to contact her. People might be thinking that as intuitives, we're walking around and stuff just dropping in about them all the time. No, I'm just talking to you. And if you were energetically open, then maybe things would drop in, but I'm not necessarily initiating it.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. They're your thoughts, not ours. We don't really care what you're thinking because we have our own stuff to worry about. Like, we too are living in this physical reality. And, like, what time is my appointment? And am I going to be late? And is the train on time? And if I'm using my intuitive knowing for anything, it's, ooh, should I walk or should I take the train? It's not like, what is Joe Schmo down the block thinking? I truly could care less. So you guys are safe.
Right. I engage with my intuition every single day, and it's usually for things like that. I'm not walking around seeing somebody at a grocery store like, okay, I'd like to tune in to understand maybe what they're thinking about or connect to their emotions. That feels to me like a boundary being crossed. Plus, I'm there to grocery shop.
Right. Is the fruit fresh? Are the vegetables good? You know what's funny? I bought blackberries this week and I was like, I have a feeling they're not going to be good. But I buy them from the same place every week and they're good. And they were not good this week and I should not have bought them.
You know what? In thinking about it, I actually do this. And I'm not even necessarily asking, is this going to go bad if I take this? It's just like, is this one good? And then sometimes I'll get like, no, grab another one. And so then I grab something else.
I know some people, like friends or family, have been nervous that like I'm around them and I'm just like reading their thoughts all the time and actually talking about the mundane stuff we use it for is, I'm like laughing. Do we use it to win the lotto? Absolutely not. We use it to pick out fresh produce, and that works well.
No one taught us to do that. We
No,
were taught, like, the examples that Deganit gave were deciding what to have for lunch. So there was an example that was with food, but the fact that both of us have brought it into the supermarket and farmer's market to pick the things that we want to buy is kind of hilarious. And now let's get to the live reading from our listener. The first thing that came in was about the cards. We were sitting here talking before we started recording about whether we should use cards or not for this reading. So I'm just going to go get one of them because I just was seeing like cards being fanned.
Clueless popped up, like Cher Horowitz and Dion. It's the song I think that starts Reese Witherspoon's Legally Blonde, Perfect Day. Do you know what song I'm talking about?
Yeah.
That's the song I'm hearing in my head, but I'm seeing Clueless on my reading screen, if that makes any sense to you.
No, okay. That's very interesting. Not giving me anything.
Okay.
When you said your name, I got the feeling that things were more like put together than they were willy-nilly. Is that like your personality to like sort of take things and put them in their place?
I think that I'm a mix of both of those things. Like I feel like I'm very type C. Let's kind of go with the flow, but also maybe keep things kind of in order.
Yeah. Oh, that's so funny. I call that type 8.5 or something. Type B.5. What did I call? I
don't know.
In the movie Clueless, they're high school students. They're supposed to be messy. Baggy jeans are disgusting to them. They like a matching set.
This idea around adapting, I think it's interesting what Christine was mentioning of, okay, there's a bunch of items or things to do, and then they're getting organized. Like there's an adjustment to the tasks or objects or ideas or things in front of you. I'm getting something about like creative, like what's the status of your creative outlets? How are you engaging with them or not engaging with them?
I do not engage with them enough at this point.
Yeah. So I'm getting like there's a encouragement to pivot how you are prioritizing things and specifically moving up that creative outlet on the list. It almost looks like a Rubik's Cube. So you're adjusting some squares one way, it's just making a few rotations. I can't solve a Rubik's Cube, but I've heard this idea that one of the ways you can do that is you're trying to get each of the center squares to be the different color. What's at the center is what's most important. And when you can have different practices, hobbies, quality time, whatever it is that's at the center for you, making sure that those things that are your passions, the passion is what keeps coming up, the things that are really fueling you, being at the center. They're not always at the center, and making sure that that is so.
I feel like that's funny because the past like few days at work, in the middle of a work day, where I couldn't, I'm like, I really want to pick up my ukulele and like sing right now. I got to remember to like do that later. And then it's like, oh, well, now my son's sleeping, so I can't do it now. Yeah, I got to find the time to do it.
I'm picking up on whatever that desire is and that encouragement, and your spirit team and your guides, they are connecting with you and they are telling you, hey, maybe you should do that. I just keep getting stuff where it's about like video editing or pictures, or where there's some sort of a practical use to it. Not necessarily scrapbooking, but it's because it feels more technical. It feels like it's on a computer. It's something that quote unquote needs to be done, but it's still scratching the itch of creativity.
That connects for me as well in regards to something I need to do for my dad. That's all I could think about when you started talking about it was, I was like, I really do. I need to prioritize that and go do that.
I love what Renee said, because when I went back into the image, I was like looking around to find you, and you were Ty. Ty is into the skater guy. And like the whole movie, Dion and Shara, like, no, you need to do this and you need to look like that. But like, she can be whoever she needs to be while maintaining her essence. She can be with the skater guy and wear a matching set. Like, there's nothing wrong with that.
Do you want us to keep going down these routes with different topics, or do you have questions or areas of life you want us to discuss?
There's a lot of need for me to prioritize family stuff, and it's hard to find the balance and find the time to do it appropriately. So I don't know, some guidance on that front and how to not beat myself up when it's like I'm spread too thin.
And it seems like in general, what we're talking about is the same theme. It's just how can you, in your current schedule with the things that you're juggling, putting creativity, putting yourself first. That's coming in as well. I know you didn't explicitly mention that, but putting yourself first and then having the appropriate family time, resources, all the above. It's balancing that with work and sleep and all the things that you need to do in your day-to-day. Do you know those spinning wheels? You put different tasks or things on a wheel and you just like to click the button and then it randomizes and it picks it for you. Some of the reframe and making it more playful and less intense. It feels like some of the stress is just when we sit there and we think about all the things that we have to do. I'm guilty of this as well. Oh, I have to do this, I have to do that. I'm so behind on all these other things. We've just added something that is more stress because we're stressing about the stress that we could have more stress in the future. Let's shake up how we're prioritizing things, approach what we're accomplishing in a looser, more type B.
It sounds like there's a lot of balls in the air. The idea is to label some balls as glass and some balls as plastic. What balls can drop and what balls can't. We're living in a society that's not conducive to raising children. There's this idea that as a mom, you're supposed to be able to do it all. No one person can do everything. We don't have a village. We need a village. The world is kind of on fire right now, and we're trying to raise tiny little humans to be the best people they can be. It's hard. Glass balls. Have I fed myself today? Have I fed my children? Have we showered? Is our homework done? Plastic balls. There's a bake sale tomorrow. I don't need to bake from scratch. I'm going to go to ShopRite and I'm going to pick up a dozen cupcakes and call it a day. The trouble here that I'm getting is that if we were to oversimplify it in that way, we feel guilty because so-and-so's mom down the block baked a bunch of homemade cupcakes. I don't know if you have a half hour in the morning. I'm seeing like 5:30 in the morning for some reason. Like 10 minutes or a half hour throughout the day, something about that time to just sit down and like take that space for you. And it's whatever you want. If you want to sip your coffee in silence for 10 minutes, that's what you do. If you want to jot down everything that's going on in your head, that's what you do. If you want to go for a walk, if you want to listen to music, it's your time. And you explain to your family, this is going to make me a better mom today. A lot of it sounds like the thought work that goes into undoing what society has told us a mom is supposed to be and what a moral failing it is if a mom doesn't live up to that standard. Is this making sense?
Mm-hmm.
There's this one woman that I love. Her name's Carol Lowenthal. She always talks about how we feel like we never have enough time. And the problem isn't that we need more time. The problem is we need to reframe how we think about how we fill our time.
Christine, what is the name of that podcast?
Unfuck your brain.
What? Is that
another problem we have when recording this is that I drop the F-bomb a lot. So of course that's the podcast that
That is so funny because I don't know that I would have expected that.
No, I was not.
This idea of being a woman and that you have to be the one, like even in family, right?
Something else coming through is like, let people fail, right? Divvy up the responsibilities. It's not your responsibility to make sure everything goes right for everyone in your family. And they learn from experience why it's so important to like remember mom's birthday. Something simple like that. So I didn't mean to interrupt you, but it came in and I didn't want to let it pass.
I'm such an empath and I'm like, well, then I don't want my mom to feel that way. I need to remind myself I have a lot going on as well.
And I feel like even this reading is overwhelming, like what's coming up. Like you don't have to make 50 changes in one day. Like just having this reading is enough. Like you've done enough. You've planted the seed and like things are going to start healing on their own down the line. And if you want to make one change a year, that's all you do. You know, like this isn't meant to further overwhelm you.
And it's also why we refer to the suggested practices as an inspired action. They're all action items. They're things that you can do and get done. If it's inspired, you're leaning into what's calling to me. So maybe today I'm going to pick up that ukulele and I'm going to do that. If I sit here right now, like, what am I feeling most drawn to do? That is your intuition telling you, start here. Start with this. It's slow change with time so that you feel more grounded. That feels like it's the most important part here. How do we clear our mind? How do we do a reset? I don't have time to do all of that. Okay, well, you have time to wash your hands. So can you say a mantra to yourself while washing your hands? It's habit stacking where you are layering them on top of each other. Doing that in a small amount every day, every week, whatever it is, allows you to have enough of a shift. The glass balls that Christine was talking about earlier. So am I being fed? Am I sleeping? Am I hydrated? Is everyone alive? What is making me feel happy and fulfilled? And then all of the other to-dos have to come after that because it's the classic oxygen mask. I'm getting to flip over the card now. The Moonology Manifestation Oracle deck. Funnily enough, I think this is the one that's on the cover. First quarter moon in Libra. Keep your heart open. We're talking about all of this relationship stuff that's very heavy in the Libra department. What's your relationship with yourself? What's your relationship with other people? Libras have a tendency of people pleasing. How are we making sure that we're actually attuning to our own needs and following them? Keeping your heart open when you're working with the heart chakra, it's self-love practices. So even what Christine was talking about earlier, if you have a narrative going about, I'm not a great mom, or I'm not doing this, or I'm not doing enough, that is a mantra that you are programming into your brain and how you're operating. So you can counteract that with mantras about your self-love, worth, your value. When we are creating balance through Libra energy, we're making sure that there's balance within our relationships. Are we always the one doing the work? Are we overextending ourselves? And when we're looking at a first quarter moons are always check-ins. At the first quarter, we're saying, how's it going? Do I need to rewrite the thing I want to call in? Do I want this anymore? Do I want to pivot? Do I want to adjust? So I think this is very much in line with what we have been talking about of the recalibration piece.
It's a lot. I'm taking it all.
It's okay. It's a lot of information. Your mind for probably the next several days will be spinning and thinking about things that we've been talking about. Give yourself time to sit with it. And again, you'll be guided to where's the thing to start with, because it'll be the thing you remember. It'll be the thing that resonated the most. And you can just start there and the rest can just unfold. You have a whole lifetime.
I'm attached to your energy, but I just saw like spirit giving you like a really big hug. I feel like taken aback, surprised. Like I wasn't expecting this today. And like all of a sudden, like all the emotions are like really choked up. I'm here for you. I'm hugging you. You're not alone.
It is just like that reassurance that you need to take the time and do it. And it's not going to be right away. It's just a lot of priorities.
Whenever you feel uncomfortable, like you feel right now, know that it's because you're growing. And growing and changing is wildly uncomfortable. There's almost like comfort in the thought of, I'm becoming better. And Spirit's like, you know what? You're doing such a great job. We're going to give you another challenge so you can be better. This too shall pass. Nothing lasts forever. And what I also heard is right now your focus is taking care on everyone around you. When you take care of yourself, imagine that you're also taking care of everyone else, because that's what's happening. Even going through this difficult time, there are angels on earth who are here to help you. I'm specifically seeing your friends. It's like the family that you make that just wants to help you and wants to be there for you.
I got the instruction that once Christine was done to flip the card over, so I'm just sharing cold what it says. Last quarter moon in Leo, lighten up. What we keep doing during this whole reading is, can we change the subject to talk about something nicer? With a last quarter moon, this energy is what follows a full moon. So when you have a full moon, it's the culmination. Things have been achieved. Did I like the thing that I got? Is that really what I wanted? And we're reflecting in a very, very different way. We need to use that information to get back to our new beginning, where we make maybe a different decision and take a different approach. What can I do next for my new beginning? And how can I make sure I'm infusing light and joy? If you have any familiarity with Leo, it's the performer. It's the creative. We were talking about that at the very beginning. Being out there, being in the spotlight, sharing, being playful. It's about fun and joy. So the lighten up piece isn't just a scolding, leaning into joy and just trying to have fun. as a Leo rising, you are inherently being asked to do that in your life. So regardless of what's coming up for you, part of your life mission is always moving towards that, always integrating it. And the counterbalance, so Christina and I talk about this in the show, we talked about it a few times. Our Cancer and Capricorn risings are opposite to each other, and you need a little bit of both. You have to integrate them together to really move slingshot into the direction that you are meant to go. So that means factoring in Aquarius energy, which is about helping the people, one of the team, helping that collective. And if that collective in this example is the family unit and how the systems are working, turning, maybe some of the emotions off to just fix the thing, to make the stuff better for everyone, and sacrificing the self. Leo is reclaiming the self. It is self-empowerment in direct response to what Christine was talking about. It's part of this mission. It's part of the story. It's something you can remind yourself of. I'm that Leo, baby. And that's what I'm working towards. And if you feel like you've gone way too far the other way, and you're in the systems, you're in the order, you're in all the priority stuff, Aquarius, also an air sign, very intellectual. You're not meant to live there, so it feels exhausting and uncomfortable.
I definitely fully relate to that and know that I need to reclaim some of myself as I continue to get lost in my different roles.
Where's your mind at right now? Because your mind is the subject of this reading.
My mind is everywhere, always. My essence is telling me right now, it's like, just whatever's coming to you both right now, just say it, and then I think that's it.
Mine was coming in loud and clear, but Spirit was like, yes, listen to your essence. Like, what does your essence want? Also, grounding yourself feels really important. Taking a bath, like an Epsom salt bath, pulling all that shit out, basically. Oh, and you're perfect as you are. You don't need to do anything. That's it.
I don't have anything to add, except I got the instruction to pull a card, and this is what I'm reacting to because this is hilarious. Full moon in Virgo. Take inspired action. And I'm laughing because we had a whole sidebar around what's inspired action. Virgo is all about self-improvement. It's all about service, growing. How can we be better, do better, which is nice, but can also be a lot of pressure that we put on ourselves. Just doubling down on that final thought that Christine had. Virgo is an earth sign. What is a Virgo going to like to do? We can tell you. We got the Virgo energy. Grounding, cleaning and creating order, just organizing the to-do list, just crossing a few things off. Oh my gosh, the satisfaction of that. Putting things away. It can be simple, and that can be 2 minutes that you just cleaned off that one corner of your desk, settling your nervous system to calm you a little bit. Whatever the grounding practices are, I think that's in part why we're also getting the Virgo card at the end. How can we shift and allow our nervous system to settle, to calm, allow people to come to us and help us?
All clicks.
Good. I want to hug you right now, but I obviously can't. And also, if we just met, you may not like that, but I'm just letting you know how I feel.
I feel like I need the hug, so.
Yeah, okay. I wish I could.
I feel that we need to take a collective breath together. I feel like this is how we close out.
Energy a lot for you guys.
It's about you doing the breath with us.
Okay.
Let's breathe in and exhale. Okay, one more time. Breathe in and exhale. All right, you can open your eyes. Better?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm really glad that we did this.
Me too.
Are you? No, I'm just kidding.
Were you worried it was going to be boring?
I was worried about the fact that I was on, level 100 coming into this.
You have a really great spirit team that has your back, that wants to help you. They're excited. They were Renee's energy. in my head the whole time, like Renee's energy when she got on the call, and I was like, we don't need all, like, tone it down a bit. So just know, like, you have like a team behind you that you can't see, all fucking for you. I love it.
Nice.
Thanks for listening. If you'd like to learn more, the resources we used to prepare for this episode are listed in the show notes.
If you're curious to develop your intuition, we've partnered with the Nuurvana Be Light program to give our listeners a $500 discount on tuition fees. Email us for more details and we'll connect you with the founder, Deganit Noor.
Want to connect with us? You can reach me, Christine, at Channeled by Christine with 1 L on Instagram.
And you can reach me, Renee, at _read by Renee, or connect with us both via email at synergytosynastry@gmail.com.
Keep your spirit curious and your aura sparkling.
We'll see you when the stars next align.
Amen, sister. Okay. The next question I thought was really fun and interesting is someone asked me, how do we as practitioners make sure that someone is open to being read before we read them? And I'm curious how you... Ooh, I hit my mic. Hold on. These fucking Italian hands. Okay, we're good. That's going to be a great blooper. Hold on, because I lost everything I had up. Here we go. Okay, I'm back.